in like the last interview round that we did, I did notice that the task that I'd set, a lot of the content we got back was from AI.
Who did it? Wasn't it?
Multiple.
Let's name and shame them.
Several. So, welcome back to Candid Sky. This is the first one of 2024. Christmas feels like a lifetime ago, but what have you guys been up to?
Christmas, that happened last year, which was nice. A nice little, actually it was a really fast break. I feel like I didn't relax too much. And then, we've just jumped straight in. Honestly, it feels like it's gone super fast. But it feels nice. It feels like we kind of really got back into the swing of things pretty quickly, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. We were saying before, weren't we? Because we've got, which we will touch on later on, new hires, new promotions, etc. in the team. But from a work point of view, I personally feel that this is the first time we've been able to breathe for quite a while. And we're really focusing on 2024 and what we're going to do for ourselves as a company so we can grow as a company and obviously as individuals as well, which is really important. So I'm very excited, actually. Christmas was a lifetime ago. What did you both do?
I just very casual, sit, watch films, eat all day. That's it.
Yeah, same. Well, I was cooking all day. I had my partner's family round for breakfast, and then I went to my mum's and cooked there as well. So I was absolutely knackered by the end of the day. I know.
I cooked. It's the first time I've done it. It's the first time I've done everything. So historically, we've done things like someone will do the veg, someone will bring the meat, and I did it all. And by the time I'd finished, I was that hot from being in the kitchen all day, I couldn't physically eat anything.
Yeah.
So mine ended up being banged in the microwave.
As it was intended.
Yeah, exactly as it was intended. But it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really good because it's my youngest's birthday on Christmas Day as well.
Oh,
So double celebration, yeah. It's always fun.
oh
So
bless her.
I was off a little bit at the back end of last year. And while I was off, you two spoke at an event, didn't you?
We did.
The Prolific North event. It was definitely an interesting experience. For me, that was probably the biggest crowd that I've ever spoke to. There were a few audio issues as well, which was fun while I was talking, but yeah, it was really great. I was talking about the biggest SEO trends that we're going to see in 2024.
Yeah, I was similar, talking about the social and PPC trends for 2024. And same, it was the first sort of talk that I've kind of ever done. And it was a really good experience. Everyone was so lovely. I think you have that moment where you think someone's going to heckle you or someo's going to be like, I don't agree. Obviously, nobody said anything like that.
It's not a comedy club.
Boo!
But, you just have that anxiety that someone's going to really come after you. But actually, people were lovely and people come up to you afterwards and say, oh, I really enjoyed that, thanks. And you're like, oh, okay.
I think public speaking is one of those things that everyone likes to feel they'd be really good at until you stood there doing it.
Yeah.
I think once you've done it once, the respect you gain for people that can do it all the time is just ridiculous, isn't it? I can't.
Kind of a weird out-of-body experience.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, I don't know about you, but you come away and I thought to myself, I have no idea of what I've just said. Like it's as if it's just completely left your brain already because, you're just so heightened in your emotions that when you're done, you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, we're missing Mr. Vernon today. But he's a natural at it, isn't he? Which is
he is,
quite annoying. I mean, he's not in the room, so I can big him up a little bit. But then he'll see this, go, cut that bit out. Yeah. So what are the biggest trends coming in 2024 then?
So for SEO, it's going to be quite a significant year. There's going to be a lot of changes. Google's releasing Search Generative experience, which is like generating AI answers for people's search queries. So there's a lot of speculation about how that's actually going to impact SEO and how that's going to impact commercials as well. So it's going to change the search engine results page layout and impact how people click through to pages on people's websites. But the general consensus is that this is going to be more so impacting informational queries. So how do I tie my shoes, for example? AI be like, well, I'll show you. Here's a video. Here's some information. But if you're looking for, like blue shoes, AI-generated results will definitely be shown. But at this point, we don't know how much impact it's going to have on commercial. everyone's speculating at the moment, but until we've got the data, then we really can't tell. But the general consensus is that it's going to be more so focused around informational-based queries. So that's one of the big trends for SEO. And then I'd say that EEAT, so that's experience, expertise, authority, and trust, that has become a significant part of how Google ranks your website. So it's not a ranking factor, but it is part of Google's guidelines, quality rater guidelines. So all of the algorithm updates that I've seen over the past 12 months have been geared towards this. So what that means is content quality is going to be one of the most important things that we focus on, demonstrating our experience, demonstrating our authority within an industry. So that is going to form a really significant part of SEO. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I'd say.
Do you think it's a good thing from what you've seen?
I'd say that personally, I wish Google would not release AI so we could just have the traditional search results, but they are evolving with the times. I think only time will tell, really, if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's estimated that there could be about a 30% drop in traffic and clicks to your website. But again, I think this is going to be more on the blog side of things. Yeah. We're just going to have to adapt, understand the search engine results, and form strategies based on the data that we have, and that's all that we can do.
Exactly. You just got to move with the times, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. But I think, like a question that people ask is SEO dead? And as long as there's a search engine, there's going to be opportunity to optimize it and gain revenue from it. So it'll never die as long as there's an online forum for people to search.
It's just going to look different.
Yeah.
It's still going to be there, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at something like social media, that's always there. It's just adapted, hasn't
Yeah.
it? What about from your point of view, Courtney, on the paid side?
Same with AI, but I think more so from a bit of a different kind of creative aspect. So I would say across both, well, PPC specifically, AI has kind of been packaged in a very different way for quite a few years now. A lot of Google automation has been rolled out, kind of broad match, new performance max campaigns. There's a lot of machine learning that's been going on behind the scenes that Google have been encouraging people to adopt for a long time. And that is just taking new forms with the introduction of AI. So it's more so the behind the scenes technology now informing those different elements, whether it's bidding strategies or campaign types. But I think one of the interesting adoptions of AI is going to be how people will be able to use it with their creative. So I think there was an article this week about Microsoft is launching an AI tool where you can just put your URL in there and it will create a banner ad for you just off the, using AI technology.
Wow. Okay.
And I think it's a really good tool. Well, just in general, AI will be really good because I think creative is something that people struggle with to get from, if it's clients. It can cost a lot for people to kind of put graphic design budget behind creative. And so using AI tools to be able to just do it automatically in the platform, which, we do for some of our clients already within Performance Max campaigns, just create videos straight off the bat. It really will make things much more efficient. I'm not saying that everything looks amazing so far, because obviously we're at the very first stages of it, but it's just giving people who manage accounts the actual ability to be able to just do it straight away without having to rely on weeks worth of production to get there.
Yeah.
So that'll be definitely very interesting.
I know we've touched on AI before, and I joked and mentioned Terminator.
Yeah.
But joking aside, I think AI is something that we need to embrace and think of it as a tool to help us. So you mentioned poor graphics, for example. That's still going to need a human element to go through and sift.
Definitely.
So people worry about computers taking our jobs. Well, they're not going to.
Yeah.
They're not going to. It's as simple as that. I feel, especially in our industry, they're not. Do you think that it will change trends of how people market, though?
I think for SEO, there was quite a significant shift. So in March, there was a broad core algorithm update, which was all around helpful content. And the guidelines were content created by people for people. And then moving into like September, when there was another algorithm release, it was around human curated content. So there's been a shift towards, they've been a little bit more lax with allowing AI generated content. I think what we need to do is adapt, but also we need to read it, make sure that it makes sense, because at the moment the quality is just not there. And I know you mentioned about how we're at the very beginning of AI, and the nature of AI is to evolve, really, isn't it? But I think at this stage we can use it to refine processes, but ultimately we need to be the ones who are kind of making the creative decisions.
Exactly, yeah, because AI, as good as it can be, it's not got emotions. It can't use feeling, can it? So there's certain campaigns and certain companies that AI is probably just not going to work properly. It'd be great to scrape data, but essentially AI is scraping data that we put there in the first place, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's just how you need to think of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not something that frightens me at all.
No, I agree. It's definitely similar across paid in that, you know, Google and Meta have been pushing for a long time for people to increase their automation, but what people have found is that you just can't jump in with 2 feet. So, you know, even things like broad match keywords, people have found that the search terms that they're picking up, you know, that Google says it has this great machine learning whereby, you know, it's going to show you to the most against the most relevant terms to the most relevant people, but people have been seeing through the data that actually that isn't always the case.
Yeah.
And so you do need that human element whereby someone is incrementally testing all of these automation features and making sure that they work for, you know, the goals that you have for your clients. And, you know, people can come across some issues if you are appearing to the wrong terms at the wrong times. It can not be great for clients. So really just have to be a human eye on everything.
Definitely. I think there is a danger there's going to be some bad decisions made off the back of it, isn't there? That people are going to go, AI is the future, sack what we're already doing. We're just going to double down on this. And then maybe it doesn't work and Google go, yeah, we made a bit of a mistake there, actually. The curated stuff is far more important. And someone's wasted 6, 9, 12 months gambling that AI is the way forward and just... you know, it just isn't, and it could affect some people. I think slow and steady is going to be the way, I believe, anyway.
I agree, and I think that that's something that business owners in particular need to take into account. You can't just produce en masse AI-generated articles and AI-generated service content and expect to have the visibility that you want, because even if you, say, for example, you do get first position for a term based on spamming loads of AI articles, what if that content doesn't actually connect with the user? That's going to result in a high bounce rate, and you're going to lose those rankings quite quickly. And if everyone adopts that, then it's just going to be AI generated content competing with other AI generated content, and there's just going to be no kind of way to prove, looping back to what I said earlier, experience, expertise, authority and trust. It's all machine generated.
It does have things, I don't know what it's called, but it does have things placed within AI that doesn't duplicate content, though, doesn't it? So there's no danger of that, is there? I don't think. But all you're doing is asking a computer to be smarter than another computer, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Without passion, emotion, feelings, any of that's gone into it as well. So
I think as well, what's quite interesting is that, it's very clear to see when content's been generated by AI, because it just doesn't read quite right. And in like the last interview round that we did, I did notice that the task that I'd set, a lot of the content we got back was from AI, and I was like, I can tell. There's also tools as well that you can use to test if content's been generated by AI.
As if somebody did that. Who did it?
Multiple.
Let's name and shame them.
Several.
It wasn't the new starter though, was it?
No.
We have got a new starter. Hayley will introduce shortly, I'm sure. Speaking of bad marketing decisions, you have I think you've both got quite a strong opinion on a big one that happened last year, haven't you? Which I don't completely share, but maybe just for the wrong reasons, and it's Twitter rebranding.
Yeah, I think from what I've read, so I'm personally not a big tweeter or whatever you call the new version Exa.
Exa. Don't ask me
Doesn't
that.
quite roll off the
It doesn't
tongue.
even flow, does
Yeah.
it?
No,
No.
it doesn't.
But from what I've read, especially from a marketing perspective, obviously the revenue generated from X now has kind of fallen off a cliff. And actually, it's very interesting that a lot of people have switched on to LinkedIn to kind of channel some of their spending there. So LinkedIn are kind of jumping up and down, making loads of money off the back of Twitter, turning to X and really not caring about, what is there on the feed, what advertisers want their ads to be appearing against. And I think maybe as much as Elon Musk might like to claim that he doesn't care about that, essentially at the end of the day, it's a business decision that he's invested his money into. So there definitely has to be an element of concern there.
22 billion off. No, it's more actually, wasn't it?
44,
$40 billion.
was it?
44,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if he's happy to lose that, I don't care how much you've got, that isn't the smartest decision
Yeah,
in the
no,
world.
that'd keep me up at night.
Why do you think it was a bad move?
I think he just jumped in head first without collecting any data. And I think that a successful rebrand needs to connect with the audience. And it did the exact opposite. It just isolated everybody because there was this big known company that people have used for years and years. And all of a sudden it's just changed and he's expected everyone to just kind of go with it. And I don't think they have, and everyone still calls it Twitter.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a massive waste of time and a little bit of an ego trip, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, it's nostalgic, isn't it? Because he had X.com, didn't he, before
Yeah.
PayPal? I think it's just nostalgic because that domain name was worth a fortune, I think, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
There was all that side of it. Do you think it's quite interesting that Threads haven't taken more of an advantage of that, though?
Yeah, I think it is because you don't really hear about Threads
'Cause
anymore, do you?
that just looks like Twitter to me, and it kind of works like Twitter. It seems like
Yeah.
the only actual legitimate rival to Twitter, really, because the others are all slightly different.
I feel like people have maybe fallen off Twitter, but then just put more time into other channels that they already use, platforms. So maybe if it's Instagram or, I don't mind how many of us use Facebook so much for social, like I personally.
Yeah.
But I think more so than picking up a new platform, people have maybe just gone for one that they're already investing time in.
Yeah. Facebook's just a snooper relationship status, isn't it?
Yeah. Just to do that extra bit of stalking.
Yeah.
It's not really our demographic, is it?
Not
it might
really.
be yours.
No, I'm not. I've not been on Facebook for about 3 years now.
Yeah, no.
Deleted my account. You do lose touch with people
You do.
a little bit. So I actually might go on it again, but delete the app and just keep the messenger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I might just do that, I think.
Sam and Nan gets in touch with me. She just
My
Facebook Messenger.
mum's on it. It is that. It is that.
Yeah,
that
it is.
sort of age
I mean, it still has
demographic,
like
isn't it?
worldwide an insane user base. You know what I mean? So to us, we're like, Facebook, who uses that anymore? But a lot of people.
Yeah, I do still have an account, but so
Yeah.
it's an old one. But I don't know how to log into it, but it's still there. So if you
Yeah.
search my name, you do see a picture of me come up with my eldest daughter in a Star Wars face mask or something like that. I think it shows she's like a stormtrooper. What other bad marketing then do you think has happened? Let's say over the last 12 months for now.
So over the last 12 months, I don't want to get too political, but I do think that there's been a lot of big name brands like Zara, for example. Their recent campaign got a significant amount of backlash. So in the ad copy, which we will insert in the video, it looked like a body that was wrapped up. So people thought that it was very insensitive to everything that was happening in Gaza. And without getting too political, I think that they just took a really big swing and a miss. And I do not know who decided that was okay. Who approved that?
Yeah.
Do you think it was just a timing error, or do you think someone at Zara thought it was a good idea?
I think even when it's a timing error, it's still, even if you've produced it 6 months ago to schedule it now, someone still has a final say that it gets to go. So I think even if it's a timing error, I agree with Hayley. I don't understand how decisions like that are made to push something through.
It feels more forgivable that though, doesn't it? A timing error than someone going, we can profit off the back of this actually.
Yeah.
It does, but I still just think the amount of money going into it, it's kind of...
Someone's got to click for that to go out, haven't they?
And
Yeah.
ultimately, the ad doesn't really connect with the brand at all. They sell clothes. Why are they dipping their toe into like kind of political territory? Or they're also kind of playing a little bit of ignorance at the moment, being like, oh, we didn't think, but...
It's a worldwide brand.
It's a worldwide brand.
Yeah. But just touching on the point of the clothes, some of the best marketing of all time has had nothing to do with the product, hasn't it?
That is true. We've seen some really great campaigns, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. I was saying before how I think just in general over the years, Cadbury have really just done very well with advertising. Obviously, the gorilla one got very famous. Probably one of the best ads of all time. I think
it's really cool.
And there is no chocolate in there. It's just a man in a gorilla suit playing the drums. But even, do you remember the Cadbury one with the eyebrows?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that was just, do you not remember?
No. And the balloon, and they were going...
Yeah, and they were like playing the music was in time with the... I'm terrible at doing my eyebrows, but but the music was... And even the one where there was a little boy who went to the newsagents and he didn't have enough money to buy his mum a bar of chocolate, so he paid with like some little like plastic toy, I just think they really have such spot on advertising. Quite a lot of the time,
It's all linked to nostalgia, that, isn't it? It's really clever.
Yeah. It's emotion. Yeah. It's not kind of buy our chocolate because it tastes great. It's just like, oh, that's so lovely.
We'll remind you of a feeling that you've
absolutely.
had.
Yeah,
and you attach the product to the feeling.
That's really clever.
Yeah, because I wasn't a big fan. I mentioned it obviously before we started recording, of the Coca-Cola advert from last year.
Oh yeah.
Why is that? The Christmas one, because I didn't feel they used the product enough, weirdly. There was one bottle, if I remember rightly, it was a Coke Zero as well, which they're really trying to push at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it was just Santa's, and then right at the end they brought the truck back, but right at the end of the advert, and then you're like, all right, I'll maybe let them off. They could have, but again, you see a red truck, immediately your mind goes Coca-Cola, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's got Apple are getting very good at that now, I think, as well. So Apple put adverts on, it's just the side of the iPhone, and you're like, well, I know that's an iPhone.
Yeah.
It doesn't need, it's so clever.
Yeah, like the reputation precedes itself. Yeah. I think there's something fun, though, about those adverts where for a little while you're thinking, what is this advert about? And then when the brand hits you, you're like, oh, that's who it's for. They kind of stick with you.
Yeah.
I like those ones.
You mean like the one that I watched at the back end of last year?
Exactly like that one,
So we did, obviously people won't know this, but we did a test on Christmas adverts, and because we got so busy just before Christmas, we didn't end up putting it out. But it was myself, David and Giuseppe, and we watched the Shelter advert. And you don't know it's a Shelter advert until right at the end. So anyone who doesn't know Shelter is it's a charity. You find out right at the end that it's Shelter, and you're watching the advert all the way through. You're like, oh, it's quite chirpy, this. And the last 15 seconds, all three of us were in tears.
Oh, bless you. I need to see this. I need to see this footage.
And it works. The first thing I did when I left the room was make a donation. It absolutely worked. It was such a clever advert, but powerful.
Stayed with you.
Well, it's designed so the Cadbury's ones that emotional. This was emotional, but for a negative reason, if you like.
Yeah.
The Coca-Cola truck emotional for a positive reason, because certainly our age group can remember watching that. When we were kids, it's been around for that long. That advert. I mean, probably longer actually. So you can relate it to your childhood, can't you?
Yeah. That's it. So we're all kind of in agreement then that the best kind of marketing campaigns make you feel something.
Yeah. Make you feel something, or I guess have an element of humour, because I'm very intrigued by recently, and very much so to do with TikTok and, Gen Z, but the Ryanair marketing campaigns that you see going about. I'm really intrigued to see kind of as we go on through time what sort of impact they have if more people start to pick them up, because essentially what they're doing is making fun of their customers for things that they charge you for. They're essentially taking the mick out of everyone, but people love it, and it's such an interesting dynamic. And I don't know if it does work in their favour, because let's be honest, people still are obviously going to fly with Ryanair because the flights are so cheap. And it's this really strange online dynamic where people are laughing, essentially at Ryanair laughing at them. So I think it's a kind of crazy marketing strategy, but I kind of like it.
Yeah, I must admit, I've not seen that.
No.
But when you're going through, I booked a Ryanair flight back end of last year, and I was going through, and you're like, that's extra. Why is that extra?
Yeah.
And if you had everything, it's not that cheap anymore,
Yeah, and if
is
you
it?
got on TikTok, they'd be saying you're a fool, but you still booked the ticket with us.
Yeah, I must admit, I think Apple do the same with the iPhone every year. They just up it by 100 quid, and people
Yeah.
go, okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so my phone's $2,000 now. Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Can I pay you back more over 3 years?
And then charge me 20% interest. Yeah. I think you were quite a fan of the Barbie marketing, weren't you?
Yeah, I just thought, well, it had a big budget, didn't it?
It did. It did.
Really,
It should have
really
been
big
good,
budget. Yeah, I'd love to work with that budget. Barbie, if you're listening.
Yeah, it was very cool actually because every press tour they did as well. They dressed her in a Barbie outfit, so an outfit that a Barbie doll in history has worn, which I think was such a cool detail. And from the back of that, obviously, everyone just went mad, didn't they?
Yeah.
For other brands that weren't even connected to Barbie,
Yeah.
it was just such a giant opportunity for marketing.
It'd have been very easy to just go to a pink dress all the time, wouldn't it? And just
Yeah.
leave it there.
Yeah, but it's the detail, and I really love it when a marketing campaign is just so cohesive that you don't even know you're being marketed to. So there's the fashion, there's like brand collaborations, there's advertisements, there's social media marketing. You're just getting shown snippets, and it all kind of created this buzz around the Barbie brand.
Yeah.
That it's just, I think that's like the biggest global marketing campaign I've ever seen executed successfully across so many different platforms, and I just thought that it was really impressive how they did that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you have to. I think it's a bit of special recognition as well when you look at the fact it was going head to head with Oppenheimer at the time, wasn't it? Which was a massive film. And I think we can probably say everyone's going to have the favourite on the film, but Barbie's marketing was definitely better.
Oh yeah,
It's
So
not
so
even
commercially
close. Not even
successful.
close.
Even in like the Golden Globes, Margot Robbie wore a pink dress as a nod to Barbie. Even now, she's still marketing it, and so it's nice to see that the people who are marketing it are really bought into the campaign as well and the brand. And
Not just taking a feed on the film and
yeah, they're like, right, next.
yeah, next film, please, next role.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good marketing, isn't it? I mean, just swinging back to bad marketing. Have you ever made a bad marketing decision? I'm not talking about like a Tinder profile 10 years ago.
personal marketing.
Yeah, marketing yourself. Like when I say I'm 5'10".
So when I first started, before I got into SEO, I worked in recruitment. I think I've mentioned this before.
Yeah, you did.
I was really bad at it, and it ultimately led to me being fired. But in the time, well, just before I got fired, I was in charge of their social media. And I thought, right, I need to get the following up. I had targets. So I just got all of my family and friends to follow. I was like, right, that's my job done. Obviously, looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? You need to have like an engaged brand. But I was fresh out of uni and naive to the marketing landscape, and I thought it was going to be really easy, and it just was not.
Buying 100,000 Instagram followers, but never getting a like on anything.
My nan just liking every single post.
Did they know about that before they fired you?
Yeah, I think that was a contributing factor. Yeah. What about you? Have you done anything?
I don't know, I mean, I'm sure over time, I think more than anything, I've probably had ideas that I've thought, this is going to be great. This is going to be amazing. Like I'm going to make the most engaging ad in the world and I'm going to drive so much traffic to site. And actually, everything's stayed exactly the same and it's kind of not had the impact I wanted. And I think that's probably because, back when you start out, you don't have awareness of how everything fits together and strategy and sort of, that you can't just make one tiny little decision and it's going to affect everything sort of thing. So, yeah, I mean, there isn't anything immediately that comes to mind, but I definitely have feelings of used to thinking kind of, I'm going to make the CEO of this company notice me when I was just like a little PPC assistant writing some ad copy.
That's where experience comes in though, doesn't it? Because obviously
sure.
it's subjective, isn't it, marketing? It is very subjective. And then you'll both know as you've gone through your careers, you have to almost take away that side of it and go, this is going to work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a big fan of it, but that is going to get engagement, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you might not think it's the prettiest campaign you've ever made, but at the end of the day, it's about getting the result for the client, isn't it?
It's got to be based and rooted in data and kind of focus on what the goals are. Definitely.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why every now and again you have to work on a campaign that is a bit pants.
Yeah. Not all glamorous.
Definitely not.
Keep the lights on though.
Definitely not. So we mentioned the new hire. Do you want to introduce Maddie?
Yeah,
And
so
obviously Alicia as well, who is doing the podcast for us
she's
today.
producing.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah, so we have recently hired an SEO executive, Maddie, who's joined the team, and also Alicia, who's our digital marketing apprentice, who's actually behind the camera right now.
What will they both be doing?
So Maddie is going to be supporting with the SEO work. We've had quite a few new clients that have onboarded, new campaigns. So she's going to be supporting our SEO manager, Liam, to get all of the work completed to a high quality. And she really impressed me in the interview, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what she can bring to the agency.
So this wasn't someone that used AI. Wasn't one of the
she did it properly.
downright cheaters. If you're listening to this,
Yeah, I did raise it in the I didn't directly raise it, but I did say, "What's your thoughts on using AI generated content?" And he went,
it's quite a leading question, isn't it?
"Oh yeah, it was."
And what
Almost
about,
intentional.
What about Alicia? What will she be doing?
So Alicia is going to be working across all of the brands, dipping a toe into all of the services, supporting with producing the podcast, helping with our socials, and she's going to be taking over some of our client organic social campaigns as well. She's very creative.
Very creative.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It really feels like there's just been a big injection of new energy into the company. I mean, not only that, but we've had quite a lot of internal promotions as well, haven't we?
We have. Go on, what's yours? Because you've had one.
So I'm now the performance marketing director. So I'll be looking after all of the performance marketing services, SEO, paid media, content, and eventually PR. And I'll also be supporting with Candid Sky's brand as well. So looking at our social media, looking at our internal marketing strategy, just so that, we get as big as the sky.
Yeah, well, we want to grow, don't we? We want new, interesting clients for people to work on.
Yeah.
And that helps the team grow, company grow, everyone gets internal promotions. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
We can get a bigger pool table.
Number
That's
one
been
on
on
the
your
priority
agenda
list.
for a while.
A new pool table with Candy Sky written across on the cloth. And there's been a couple of other internal promotions, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has. So Giuseppe is now our client services lead. So he'll be looking after all of our clients, making sure that the strategies align with their business goals. And we've had Liam, who has now been promoted to SEO manager. So he'll be developing the strategies and he'll be making sure that everybody produces the work to a high quality, supporting the team with training. And Dan is now our senior technical SEO executive. So he's taking all of the technical SEO work and doing that himself in-house. So really big push for the team everywhere. It's been really good to see. Feel all emotional about it.
No, it's good because obviously they work under you, don't they? So it's nice to see them grow, isn't it?
Yeah,
I always think it's dead good, that.
Yeah, it gives you like a feeling in your chest, doesn't it? You're like, just pride.
Weirdly, when I was a bit younger, I lost a really good member of staff, but they went on to a really good position somewhere else, and I was dead proud that I actually helped that happen. It actually felt good. I was crapping my pants for a few months about how to replace them, but in the end, you're like, I should actually be quite proud of that.
Yeah.
There's been another internal promotion, which I'll just mention, and it's Mr. Vernon is now our ops director, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
He's not in the room today because we didn't want him in.
He's busy being the ops director.
He is. He's busy on ops. He's busy on ops. But that essentially, anyone doesn't know what an ops director is, it means he's going to be less focused just on sales. It's still going to be part of what he does, but he's going to focus quite a lot on efficiency in the business as well, and just trying to, take stress away from the team, make sure the clients get the best work, and we just grow as an organisation.
Yeah, it's great. Feels like this is our year.
Yeah,
I know I keep saying that, and it's really cheesy, but it really does feel like that. We've got so many new things to look forward to, haven't we, as well this year?
Yeah.
We have. So, Hayley, would you like to run us through the 2024 plans from your perspective?
Yeah, so from my perspective, a big focus is going to be on developing our performance marketing services. So we're very good at what we do, which is SEO, paid media content, and the natural expansion is into PR. So from Q2 this year, we're going to be looking at building up our PR services, making hires, and really pushing that as a service, because it marries so well with SEO and with content. So it's just the next natural step, and I'm really excited to get started because it's going to be very creative.
Yeah, completely agree. I think it is the natural step. So we have discussed before about staying quite sort of, it'd be two-dimensional, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You think of search and paid, and then you look at what a client actually needs, and you think we're missing something here. We're not completely servicing them to make them the best that they can be by not having that PR person, I think.
Yeah.
What about you from a paid point of view? What are you looking forward to?
Looking forward to kind of working with, like we've said, kind of tying in other channels, I guess. I think obviously we're focusing on sort of getting clients whereby we can have multiple channels, and being able to kind of work with the SEO guys, and marrying up strategies and actually approaching clients with performance based on that.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really exciting for 2024.
No, I agree, and it's already gone out on socials that we've opened up in Australia as well, which isn't your typical let's open an office that isn't real and we'll put an address there.
Yeah.
We've got clients there already, and we are actively marketing to clients there.
Yeah.
And the plan is, from my point of view, certainly before the end of the year, to have actual bodies there. And it's a serious move. It's not just a lot of companies make themselves up multinational by just opening the odd office here and there.
Yeah.
And there's not really any intention to it. There's genuine intention for us. We believe Australia is a little bit of an untouched market. They are, and Aussie will hate this, a little bit behind us from the search point of view. And that is only, I think it's the weather.
Yeah. Everyone's so chilled out, aren't they?
I think they're just too chilled. And I don't know how much you've explored what search is like in Australia compared to the UK, but can you just give us a quick summary?
Yeah, so I think they were around 10 years behind us in terms of search. So the competitive landscape is much more open than it is in saturated markets like the UK and in Europe and in America. So there's a lot of opportunity for brands to win because the competitors aren't necessarily exploring SEO or performance marketing services. That's where we'll come in.
Yeah.
We'll help to build up brands and have this collaborative marketing service.
Yeah.
It's going to beat the competition, and it's the right time to do it.
I agree. There's no reason why Sydney shouldn't be up there with London and New
Yeah.
York
definitely.
from that point of view. Is it still dominated by Google?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I didn't know whether there was maybe a bigger Bing presence there, for example. So that's
Google.
interesting. It's still Google. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think from a paid point of view about Australia? At the
Yeah,
moment?
it's similar in terms of I think with both channels really. I guess it's kind of the ideas, the knowledge sort of perspective of what's the most up-to-date thing that can be tested, tried, what we can put in front of potential clients as ideas of how we can actually help them grow, increase their awareness. I guess here, like Hayley said, the element of competition between different agencies means that you're continually striving to put forward, the best strategies, the best ways to get there. And I think actually that means that we have a lot of experience with what works best for different types of clients, which is what we can take down under.
I was waiting until one of you two said that.
All I've had in my head is Joe's little quip about put another link on the Barbie.
Put another link. Is that what he said? Put another link on the Barbie. That's pretty good.
It's good, isn't it? I mean, I think it would be funny to a UK audience, but I think we might piss off the audience.
I think you piss them off,
for sure.
I think because they have one or two words which we have here that are bad that aren't bad in Australia.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with one or two of them,
Yeah.
don't you? I only know that from a podcast that I listen to be honest. Because apparently it means a really good thing in Australia, the word I'm thinking.
Yes, it does.
But not here. I think, is that a good summary of 2024, do we think? Or have we missed something?
No, I think that's a good summary. I think there's a lot for us to be getting on with. I'm just really excited to get started.
Yeah, same. We're manic, aren't we, across the board? But in a good, it feels in a good way.
Yeah.
Where this time last year, because you've been here over a year now, haven't you? I believe, you started in October just before, didn't you?
Yeah.
You would have noticed this time last year it was just different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was busy. We were servicing less clients, but it felt busier somehow.
Yeah. I think it definitely feels there's a nice kind of, even though busy, it's a calm energy, sort of. It's a very organised, calm energy going into 2024, where it's like there's a lot on the horizon, but it's very much from a positive place, not like a stressed place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, which can be dangerous, can't it?
Yeah.
Being too stressed.
Yeah.
I think, but I personally think being busy is good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's nice. I feel like because everybody's stepped up, they've
Yeah.
all got the new roles, it just has clicked, hasn't it? And it's it's exciting to be in
it's
the
fallen
office.
into place.
Yeah, sometimes I stand there with my coffee and I just look out and just be like, wow, we've built
Look out
this.
across the
It's
land
really
I've
nice.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I know exactly what you mean. Because when I came in, it was just a buzz this morning. I got in 10 to midday.
Yeah.
Or 10 to 12 is what a normal person would actually say.
10 to midday.
And it was the energy's just different, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't even think there was music on when I came in. I can't remember. The energy was just there anyway. I'm pretty sure somebody made a quiff about what I was wearing when I walked in, though, which I need to pick up.
Oh really? Gosh.
Was it Maddie?
Got some beef.
I'm sure somebody said I looked like Sicario today, which I thought was
I
really
don't know
offensive.
who that is.
Have a Google after.
Okay.
Or any other search engine of your choice.
Okay, yeah.
I think you've covered everything that I think from a 2024 point of view. There's other bits which we all know that we're working on. We'll keep that to ourselves at the moment.
secret.
Just in case it doesn't happen, we look a bit stupid.
Stay tuned.
Definitely stay tuned. And now the final bit, as normal, is Aaron's question. I've only, Courtney's never faced an Aaron's question.
No, I've not, and I forgot this was happening.
It's not. This isn't a
now.
bad one. I didn't, because on the first one, I asked Hayley if she suffered from imposter syndrome, and I think
Yeah.
it's definitely been the deepest one that's been asked so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has, yeah.
I could ask you the same question. In fact, yeah, go on. Do you suffer from imposter syndrome?
Let's just stick to the one that
No,
you
go
had
on.
planned.
Go on. Go on.
I think everyone does to an extent. Because sometimes you just can't help but question yourself for multiple reasons. Because, sometimes if you come up against difficult clients and you have that moment where you really do know what you're doing, but sometimes you'll be like, hang on, do I know what I'm doing? Have I thought about this? Like, if someone's really testing you, you can really kind of look inwardly and think, oh gosh. So I think definitely have sometimes elements of impact. And equally when we did the talk at Prolific North, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Who am I that was a big thing for me. Who am I to get on the stage and claim that I have authority about these ideas,
I felt exactly the same.
Yeah.
In my mind, as I was talking, my brain was going, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's because deep down we all still feel 18, don't we?
Yeah,
And then
sure.
when I was 18, I looked at somebody my age, and I was like, I'll never be that old. I'll never make it. And now I'm that old, I still feel dead young.
Yeah.
It's
I
mad,
think it's
isn't it?
because there's always more to achieve. So you kind of never, I'd be intrigued to know if, any of the kind of the big dogs out there in the world have that feeling of just completely being like, yeah, I'm the expert and not one person can tell me anything, because surely that doesn't.
There's going to be a few.
Yeah, but I reckon it's ego-based and not knowledge-based.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 37. I'd still call a 35-year-old sir, probably. It's just ridiculous. So my actual question is, what is the lie you tell yourself most often?
Oh, Oh, that's
Everything's gonna be all right.
that I'm normal. Like, you're just a normal member of society. You know, no, I am a normal member of society. I just mean in the sense of, you know, sometimes if you feel like you do something that's a little bit weird, or you say something, you know, if you ever say something and you kind of catch yourself thinking, do people think I'm really strange?
Like
Because
what?
I don't, you know, if you just have an intrusive thought and it's a bit weird and then you share it, and then, like, I guess to reassure yourself, you're like, no, it's fine, like, you're normal, it's okay.
Yeah.
Do you mean
You
when
get in
people-
your own head and you're like,
Yeah.
do you mean when people are stood on the bridge and they say to you, do you ever have the urge to jump off? I've been asked that in my life.
What?
Have you ever been asked that? You stood on like a really high, not a high ledge, because that would be ridiculous, but you just look down and think, shall I just...
yeah, or lobbing my phone off. Like,
Just
my
like-
intrusive thoughts are just like, I could throw this. Or like, if I look at someone, I'm like, I could slap you. And then I'm like, sat on my hands, like, don't slap the lady. Don't let the thoughts win.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, strange. You know, you could just have a strange little thought, like, oh, you know, if we had two little, a little baby duck and a little baby chick here on the table, like, which would win in a race? And
Maybe
then,
the chick.
I'd go check.
yeah, but you know where
Dynamics.
but obviously you guys answered that really nicely. Some people would be like, what sort of question is that? And then you have to be like, oh no, it's okay. I'm okay.
I
Like,
hate those people.
I'm a normal person.
I think we should be more open to like embracing people's quirks and like those thoughts. Not everything has to be so serious all the time.
And baby animals make everything great.
They do.
They do.
So-
And weirdness, and I'm air quoting, you know, it's created artists like David Bowie, and you know,
Yeah,
you
that's
look,
true.
you look back in time, and some of the people would go, they're a bit weird.
Yeah.
They've done some of the most amazing things ever.
Yeah, they have.
So it's fine to be weird.
Yeah.
What about you?
The lie that I tell myself most often is
I know one. I know one. That you're going to quit vaping.
What an exposure.
the scandal. Yeah, we'll hope so. We'll stay tuned for that. I'd say that the biggest lie that I tell myself is that I've got enough time.
Right.
I'm notoriously late to everything. Not work though. I managed to get
Your
it.
timekeeping's better than mine for work. I'll admit that.
But outside of like anything like social, anytime I'm meeting friends, I just don't stick to it.
Yeah. I'm on my way, but you've not even had a shower yet.
Do you
I'm there
friends-
sat
Do
in my
they tell you
pajamas,
like an
yeah.
earlier start time so that they hope that you get there?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Depending on the importance of
But-
the event.
Luke is the opposite. He's like, if you're not half an hour early, you're half an hour late. And I'm just like, we clash a lot because of it. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, it'll be fine.
You're
And he's
opposite
like,
ends of
"Get
the
dressed."
spectrum.
Yeah.
And he's getting stressed in the
yeah.
corner.
See his vein growing on his
Yeah.
head. I'm like,
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's a good thing though, because imagine you were both like you. You'd never get anywhere.
terrible.
You'd never
yeah.
get anywhere.
Yeah.
So you probably just rein it in slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does. What
It's
about
good
you?
having a bit of an opposite sometimes.
It is, because you just like balance each other out,
Yeah.
don't you? And just
Yeah.
like
Meet
step
in the middle,
backwards.
get there on time.
Yeah.
Not early, not late.
Yeah, definitely.
What about yourself?
Mine's one that I've touched on before, actually, in the podcast, and it's that I'm going to slow down one day because it's going to be enough. I tell myself that all the time. All the time. I'm like, do that, am I going to stay in the house? And then I am, but I'm going to have to completely renovate and put loads of stress on myself just off the back of having two of the most stressful years of my life, renovating a house, which was a nightmare.
Yeah, it
I'm now
was.
looking at renovating another one straight away. It's things like that. It's just that stupid. I almost need to feel too busy, otherwise I don't feel busy enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Yeah,
weird.
it's like you're used to the feeling of busy that you
Yeah.
can't stop because you're like, something's wrong.
It feels weird to not be juggling a few balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels a bit odd.
I was actually listening to an interesting radio interview about this and how people feel that the constant need to be busy and on the go, and when they have time to rest, they can't rest because they almost feel guilty, or like they feel the urge to be constantly doing the next thing, doing this, doing that. And it was about how you bring yourself back to present moment and like think about how you're feeling and your emotions, and it's mindfulness, really, isn't it?
It is.
But it's like taking joy in like the little things in life, like going for a walk in the rain, or I know that sounds really cheesy, but like, you know, like, and just allowing yourself to be in the present moment, because what you're essentially doing is always looking forward as opposed to in the right now. So finding the time to kind of allow yourself to take a few deep breaths, and like that really helps.
And
to
it's
keep
always
you grounded.
having like thoughts as well, because I don't know if you've ever tried to meditate, but actually to get rid of every thought that you have in your head and be completely thoughtless is so hard.
It is
like you just be trying to kind of relax, have no thoughts, you know, do some zen, and thoughts just pop in there.
They do.
They say not to try and get rid of them, though, don't they? You just let them pass
Just
through,
let them
don't you,
pass
when you
through,
meditate? I've tried meditating. I probably did it for 18 months. It just wasn't really for me.
Yeah.
I do breathing exercises every now and again now.
Yeah.
Breath works
Just
great.
calming. Is it called the 4 square or something?
Yeah.
I do that most mornings. That's quite nice.
Yeah, it is.
But I think there is probably an element of guilt. I think that is probably quite a good way to put it, because this is going to sound grim now, but I've had people younger than me that I know that have died, and I'm fit enough and young enough to keep pushing, and it would almost feel I was doing myself a disservice if I didn't take that on and try and run with it, when there's been people way less fortunate than me that, you know, one, haven't got the drive and the ambition to try and do that, and two, haven't been able to do that through no fault of their own. So there's an element of that as well. Plus, I want to make my mum and my children really proud of me. It's just that all those things are always in my mind. So I'm just going to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to stop doing it. As soon as I finish the renovation on the house, I know for a fact I'm going to already be ironing up another one.
You can renovate mine if you'd like. If that's what you're hinting at, I really don't mind.
If you just want to keep yourself busy, I mean, Haley's got something to keep you busy.
Well, it's like with Candid Sky, you know, we're in a really good position now. We could have an easy 2024, couldn't we? Yeah. And we're already going, no, let's look at Australia, let's try and push, let's take on new staff.
Yeah.
Let's increase the break even a little bit, let's put a bit of pressure on.
Yeah.
It's just, until I can't physically work anymore, I don't think I'll ever stop. Yeah. I know loads of people say that, but I genuinely, I was bored at Christmas, put it that way.
Yeah.
In Christmas limbo, so bored. Yeah, I was at the house every day tinkering.
And I guess there's a happiness in doing that as well, isn't it? It's not always stress, you know, like you must enjoy doing that. So I think the end goal for everyone really is happiness, isn't it? And if something makes you happy, then you can't feel guilty for not stopping.
And happiness looks different to everyone, doesn't it?
It does, it really does.
So the house I've finished, I drive past that every day. And I'm about to sell it, but I'm always going to know that I did that.
Yeah.
And that's dead nice, that.
Yeah, it is.
But then this weekend, for example, I really want it to be dry because I need to teach my little one how to ride a bike. Oh. So I want it to be dry. So I am finding little bits of that in my life now.
Yeah.
And obviously I got engaged.
Yes, you did.
Looking at wedding venues and things like that. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a dog.
Yeah.
So I'm getting better at it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah, but I'll probably just bring the dog to work.
Good.
Please do. Bring the dog to work.
We'll get Bella in and Jake's dog.
Ringo.
Yeah. Just have them all just darting about everywhere.
Brian would love that.
Oh, yeah.
Get some doggy beds for them. Yeah. We could do that. We could build a kennel.
A little dog crash. Oh, my God.
What a great idea. You've got a cat, haven't you?
Yeah.
You can bring your cat in.
She will not be interested in any of you or any of the dogs. Sorry.
Charming.
That's cat energy.
No, that's who she is.
Does she like you?
Yeah, of course she likes me. I provide for her.
Yeah, but cats are quite emotionally fickle, aren't they? If someone else starts feeding them.
Yeah. I mean, she literally sleeps on the bed all day. Why would she come into an office, you know? She's got it sorted.
It's like 23 hours a day sleeping cats or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's mad.
Yeah, they're annoying. My next door neighbour's cat really annoys me.
Why?
When I get home sometimes, it just sits in the middle of the drive.
Oh, that isn't.
I think it knows I'm not going to run
It's
it
a certain
over.
dominance.
Yeah. And it'll sit there, it'll wag its tail, and I'll have to park on the street until it moves.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I think that's great.
Yeah, and no matter how close I get to it, it won't move. To be honest, it's a hilarious cat, and it is top dog, if you like, from the cats. Because I live on a new estate, everyone obviously came at the same time, and you could hear the cats fighting at night when we first moved on.
Yeah,
while
that's crazy.
Yeah, while that one asserted its
Yowling.
dominance. So now it just does what it wants. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I full respect for the cat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and not my driveway.
No.
No.
Unfortunately, if it, as they say, if it fits, it sits, and it definitely fits on your driveway.
Should we wrap up there on a cat note?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big up the cats.
Yeah. It's a nice ending. Usually we talk about death.